Okay, seventh graders, we're going to try doing this video thing. It's going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. It's really different for me because I'm talking to a camera. So we're going to give it a go and see what happens. Basically, you're going to get some vocab and a couple examples here to get us ready for class tomorrow. So in Chapter 2, we're going to start out with integers and absolute value. Your first vocab word is going to be an integer, and an integer is any number within the set of negatives through positives. Okay, so if you think of like negative 17 or negative 2, 0, 1, 4, a million, basically any number that is a full number or a whole number is considered to be an integer. You won't have any halves, you don't have any decimals, it's all whole numbers. Okay, so any number within the set of infinity of the negatives to infinity of the positives. Negative integers we'd represent with a negative sign, and those are always less than 0. Okay, so negative integers are going to be less than 0. Okay. Positive integers are greater than 0, and you can show that with the positive sign, but since we use positive numbers more often, typically we don't put a positive sign with it. Okay, so those are integers. We're also going to do some graphing on a number line to get familiar with the value of some of these numbers. And so when we graph it, we're just going to draw a point on the number line. We've done that in the past, so that shouldn't be too new. And then finally, we're going to look at absolute values, and that's numbers that are the exact same distance away from 0 on a number line. When you have numbers with that same distance, they have the same absolute value. And so the absolute value is the distance from 0. For example, a positive 5 and a negative 5 would have the same absolute value because they're the same distance away from 0. Okay, so if I had 0 on the number line, if 5 was here and it was so far away, negative 5 is only so far away as well. All right, so they're the same distance, therefore they have the same absolute value. All right, and so those are some numbers that we will look at when we get to the class portion. But just so we can get a couple examples going here before tomorrow, we're going to look at just some integers in general. We want to write integers here to represent each situation. So if I have an average temperature of 5 degrees below normal, that means that I am below wherever my starting point typically is. Okay, so I am below, which tells me that I'm going to be negative. Okay, so if I think of temperature, when it's super, super cold, I'm going to have a temperature of maybe negative 5 degrees. Okay, so I use a negative, I show negative 5, and I use my degree sign. Okay, so I have negative 5 degrees, I'm 5 degrees below normal. Okay. Our second example has to do with rainfall. I have an average rainfall of 5 inches below normal. Right? 0 is considered the norm. This is where we should be, but it's 5 inches below it. Okay, when I think below, again, I'm thinking negatives. Okay, so I have negative 5 inches of rainfall compared to normal, compared to my normal levels. So say the average is 34 inches of rain, and this year we got 29. That would put me negative 5 below normal. Okay. If I'm 9 feet below sea level, okay, again, I'd be negative 9 feet. Sea level would be even. If I'm down into the sea, that would be below sea level. Okay, so that would be 9 feet below. If I was in the air, I'd be considered above sea level. So say I'm parasailing and I'm 18 feet in the air, then I would use a positive integer. So a positive 18 feet. So just a couple examples both ways. Okay, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to graph those integers on a number line. So here I have a number line from negative 10 to positive 10. I don't know if you can see that very well. See if I can make that a little bit bigger for you. Well, maybe. There we go. Okay, but if I'm going to have a negative 5, I'm going to go to 0, but now I'm working in the negatives. Okay, so negative 5. I have a negative 9. Okay, so again, I'm working in the negatives. If this wasn't 18 feet, let's call it positive 8. Again, I start at 0, I go to positive 8. Okay, and so we're going to graph, and we've done that in the past, so I think when we get to that tomorrow, it shouldn't be a big deal. So we'll check in on your worksheets tomorrow. Make sure you've got all this copied down on your sheets so that you're ready to go. Have a good night. See ya.